Hi, everyone. Welcome to the T3 Technologies podcast. Today, we're going to talk about some different topics that may be interesting, more so if you're in the IT space. What we're going to be talking about is artificial intelligence and how that has a role in the managed services space, as well as with other technology, AI in other businesses, in other type of industries. Today, I've got a special guest. His name's Tim Unger from Steel Pixel Studios. He's really a creative guy and really good with art. So he's going to be talking about as well how they use AI in their workspace today as well. So I'm excited to dive into this. So let's get going.
Well, thank you for having me on, AJ. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Tim. Welcome. So let's start with AI in the MSP space. So for those that don't know what MSP is or what artificial intelligence is, let's get a little bit into that. AI stands for artificial intelligence. OpenAI, which is a company that developed this software, essentially that's constantly learning. So just like us as humans, we're learning and adapting to our environment and constantly evolving as people. And they always say that every 10 years that you actually change. You're not the same person that you were 10 years ago. Well, same thing with AI. Now, this is brand new, and again, everyone's talking about it. But AI is constantly evolving and changing and learning, but on a more of a technology microchip type platform instead of with a heartbeat and a brain. And for those that don't know what an MSP is, basically it's a company managed services provider, and that's a company that protects you, manages your computers, makes sure they're working properly, make sure everything's just functioning the way it should be functioning, and that hackers aren't getting in and attacking you. So I guess the question is, how is AI currently affecting the MSP space? And for those of you that are in IT, I'm sure you will have lots of commentary on this. So Tim, just so you know, I did do some research ahead of time.
Awesome.
Before I came here today. And I did look a little bit into it.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim, as you know, at T3 Technologies, we currently provide a service. It's called Inbox Shield.
Mm-hmm.
And Inbox Shield has a couple different variations of factors behind it. One is called Graphis, and Graphis is used to go ahead and protect your inbox. I'm going to dive into that a little bit. And then we have dark web, which is a dark web scan. We go out and search the dark web and see if anything is on there that shouldn't be on there regarding the emails in your domain. And then we have another one called Bullfish. And this, I love Bullfish, Tim. I tell you about Bullfish. Bullfish is sneaky. So what we'll do is we'll send out an email that's bogus to your employees and your employees too. And we're going to see who clicks on a compromised email. And when they do, we're going to figure it out. We're going to see who clicked on that email. And then we're going to send them to some training. So next time, they won't be clicking on that email again.
That's fair.
Yes. This is how, again, how AI is constantly learning and evolving. We're going to learn and evolve your employees. And make sure that they don't compromise the integrity of your company to some hacker out in China, Iran, Russia, even the United States. And as you all know, the biggest factor in small businesses today is ransomware. So constantly getting hit with ransomware. I mean, I've heard horror stories already. Small businesses, maybe grossing around $2 million a year, and they're getting ransomware that they want $1 million in Bitcoin to go ahead for decryption keys. And again, for those of you who don't know what decryption key is, usually pay that in Bitcoin, which is cryptocurrency. And that would be a key that the hacker would send you to decrypt your files so you can access them again. And sometimes you're lucky if you're able to decrypt it. Sometimes you're not. So
I have to tell you, AJ, when I worked at a previous role,
Yeah.
The company I worked for actually got hit with ransomware just like that. It was back when the WannaCry virus was a big thing.
Oh no.
And it hit their server.
Oh no.
The receptionist had accidentally uploaded a student's files that was infected with it. And it was interesting. I was actually working in an IT role at that time, and I came into work, and the finance people were like, "Hey, I can't open QuickBooks," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. And were you able to decrypt that those files then?
So fortunately, I had snapshot backups of the server, and I was able to restore them. So it's a good backup data recovery plan.
Yeah.
That's something that you guys can talk about on a later episode.
Another time, another place, my friends. Another time, another place. So yeah. And again, it's all about educating your employees and helping your business become protected. So, but one topic I want to talk about, or one subject matter I want to talk about, is Graphis. So Graphis protects your email. And that integrates into your Office 365 subscription, to your Google subscription, whatever it might be. And what happens is Graphis is going to scan your emails, and then it's going to basically learn from your email patterns of what's safe and what's not. And a really good example that I've got was the word wire transfer. Now, Google will obviously filter out most emails that say wire transfer because obviously Steel Pixel Studio is probably not doing a whole lot of wire transfers.
I don't think we've ever done one.
Right. So whereas if you're a mortgage broker or if you're in real estate, you might be dealing with some wire transfers for property. So basically what will happen is if I send you an email and I say, "Hey, Tim, wire transfer me $10,000 to this account," Google will send that to spam. So what Graphis does is it will learn your email patterns. And this is AI driven with artificial intelligence. And as Graphis is learning your email patterns, it will know that if I send you multiple wire transfer emails during the hours of 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., it will allow those emails to be processed and sent through to your email.
That's pretty cool.
Now, if I go ahead and send you an email at 3 a.m. with the keyword wire transfer, the AI engine will see that and say, "This is outside this user's normal pattern," and then block that email.
Interesting.
So and that's kind of how AI in Graphis is different from any other spam filtering software that you might have with possibly Barracuda or with SonicWall or even with your native Outlook.
Yeah,
right, in your spam folder. Right. So, and one thing that's really neat what they do is it builds a trust graph of the user. So, and then you... And it's really neat is that it will learn what's trusted within your organization and what is not based upon that user. And then that will carry through to all the other users in your organization.
Interesting.
So really, really neat stuff. That's how Graphis is using AI to filter out, potentially bad content, but yet not prohibiting you from doing business by allowing the good content to come through.
Absolutely.
So really neat stuff.
So with that being AI, do you see any future advancements in that or some awesome features that are on the horizon for this kind of software?
I was thinking about that, right? And I don't know how else they could develop it in AI on an inbox shield, right? More of an email standpoint, other than the fact that it would become more creative in how the emails are processed.
Okay.
Right. So, and another thing to consider, which would be neat if they can do this. Now, this is only for inbound emails. But let's say, God forbid, a hacker gets compromises your email server and starts spitting out 1 million emails. It'd be neat if Graphis could go ahead and monitor that and start blocking those emails as well.
That would be neat. That's actually something that happens to one of our clients very often.
Well, what's going on there?
So they are one of our clients is a local university, well, community college, but
Yeah.
we'll say whatever for the sake of the podcast.
Okay. All right. Okay.
In their IT department, I constantly hear them because I'm in the office a lot, and I constantly hear them going back and forth talking about how a student's email has been compromised and is now spamming phishing emails to the entire staff and student registry.
Imagine that.
It would just be, and it's not even like a student email, it's bots that are creating bogus student accounts, starting the sign-up process for a class so that they get the email address and never completing it, but the email works.
Yep.
So
that's the way it works. I mean, essentially, it's not a human going ahead and generating all these emails.
Mm-hmm.
And people get angry that, that they got hacked or their Instagram profile got hacked or whatever might have happened. But it's not a human really doing that.
It's not a lot.
It's a script.
Mm-hmm.
It's a script that somebody wrote somewhere. And all they're doing is casting this big net out on the internet and trying to find the people that fish that wants to eat that hook.
And that's exactly why they call it phishing, right?
Is like what they call it phishing. Bump. So, and there's another company out there right now using AI, but it's even more creative than Graphis. So, there's a company called ConnectWise, and
I've heard of them.
And they develop software for MSPs to go and protect you and help do updates on your computer and all kinds of fun, intricate stuff that we do in the back end. And again, it's the old adage joke, so when things aren't working on your computer, you'll just the IT guy, what do you do? But when things are working smoothly, you ask the IT guy, what do you do? So, right? So you can't win with IT, right?
It's true.
Yeah. So, but anyway, ConnectWise Automate, which is their MSP platform, is now using Azure and OpenAI, ChatGPT, to go ahead and start helping their MSPs with their ticketing and issue tracking processes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really neat stuff. It helps partners write complex scripts and solve other user codes.
Yeah.
So it really is, and this is the first time that AI, and OpenAI more specifically in ChatGPT, is being used in an MSP space. This is so new that actually the articles start coming out in February.
That's awesome.
So really neat stuff. So I was thinking, now you have to write a script, all right? Now, as a human, I still have to interface that AI. But a couple of years ago, now some of you may not remember this, Microsoft released a update that crashed the printer spool. And for those of you that don't know what a printer spooler is it is a service that runs on your computers that allows you to print.
Okay.
In basic terms. So Microsoft Windows, as some people call it, Microshaft, sent out an update that crashed that service, and then you were able to print it all. And then many hours were spent from different managed service providers rolling back those updates that were pushed out by Microsoft. Now, wouldn't it be neat if something like this ConnectWise Automate with OpenAI, and the AI engine would see that the printer spooler is causing an issue and automatically roll back all the Windows update until an update is released by Microsoft to go and fix that patch. So the AI would know that the update that Microsoft pushed out is broken. And then the AI also would know that we're going to roll back all these machines that have the update applied to it. And then the machine would also communicate with Microsoft, the AI engine, would communicate with Microsoft when a new update comes out and the patch is fixed, and then it would automatically go ahead and patch all those machines.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
It'd put me out of a job, but it'd be fantastic.
Well, no, because you're still managing the software.
Still managing the software. Right.
That's actually an interesting thought because we use AI a lot in our business.
Right.
And we use it for a couple different reasons, sometimes to help with writing just creative content. But one of the bigger and more useful things that we use it for is scripting. And whether that's code on a website that's maybe not working correctly, or whether that's code in After Effects that's not quite behaving the way we want it to or getting the output.
Yep.
Or even I've seen people use it to, as a test, it's not quite there yet, but create an entire game in the Unity engine by communicating back and forth with this AI as if they're the project manager and the AI is the developer, and asking it to spit out code and the project manager would be copying that into Unity. And people have made successful side-scrolling games doing that kind of stuff, or very basic games.
Yep.
I think that that's super interesting stuff. But where I was getting at with that is I don't think that wish for ConnectWise with OpenAI would not be able to do that at all.
We're not that far off.
And the fact of the matter is, I'm pretty sure Microsoft has a huge investment in OpenAI.
Well, pretty much that OpenAI and Azure go hand in hand. Yep.
And I mean, look at Bing AI.
Yep.
It's insane what it can do.
Yep. And then you have Bard too, by the way. So for those of you who don't know, there's many different platforms of AI, and everyone's getting on this bandwagon now to go ahead and develop AI.
Well, even Adobe they just released generative art in Photoshop, where you can now highlight something in an image and just ask it to be something different, whatever you wish.
You know, it's funny. Tim and I were playing with that the other day. And let me just say, like, you can take a picture of me posing like this, and you can tell the software to put a bird in this hand and an angel in this hand, and it will.
And what's even crazier about it, and for anybody who doesn't know about like kind of lighting and stuff like that, or Photoshop in general,
like me,
it's contextually understanding that image from not just reading text, like an actual image context standard, and putting the proper lighting in there with it, putting the proper like depth of field from the camera in there, and just, it's insane what it can do.
The shadowing. I mean, just the shadowing alone. And what Tim had a picture of a couple, and I guess they were renewing their vows. They were married previously, COVID, and then they had to go ahead and they had the celebration itself. Well, the image that was taken by your camera, right, Tim, was kind of cropped, and you couldn't see the edge of the bride's dress. And then the groom had some space there. It could be altered as well. So what Tim did is Tim asked Adobe to expand the image and create the image so it's a different, I guess, format.
Yep.
That's the right way of saying it.
Different aspect ratio.
And you can see that it created a shadow on the expanded image of the bride's dress. It was amazing. It really was.
And not only that, it looks at like the background, the town that was in the background. It created what it thought the town should look like for the rest of it.
And the river too. And there was actually a river there as well, and a fence, I believe. There was a fence in the background as well. Yeah. It was some creative stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, Tim, I downloaded some apps on my phone.
Okay.
That you can type in the image you want to generate. And apparently they're AI generated images. It didn't work out that well for me.
Well, it depends on the AI. I mean, even Adobe's, which is called Firefly, sometimes runs into some trouble.
What's your notice?
I would say out of all of those, there's definitely some ones that are better than others. There's one that oddly enough runs only in Discord, but it's called Midjourney.
Okay.
And Midjourney is really good. It's insane what you can create on that. Some of these, I mean, all of them come out looking like fever dreams, but the fact of the matter is, like, it is genuinely decent art that comes out of it.
See, now me, I'm not really an artist per se. You know, I create my art through my hands, my coding, and my programming, and workarounds, we call them, right? But it's creative art, essentially, in technology,
Absolutely.
right? So that's really good for somebody like me that can go ahead and generate something, an image I want to have in my head. I want to have it on paper.
Absolutely.
And I can generate an image of some kind
No,
just by
for
typing in
sure.
what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And another thing I did too, by the way, with AI and ChatGPT more specifically, is I've been educating my customers on AI.
Okay.
And people seem to have this fear of AI. Understandable, right? I mean,
we've all seen The Terminator.
We've all seen the movie The Terminator. What's the movie with Will Smith? iRobot?
Oh yeah, iRobot. Which oddly enough is the brand name of a household vacuum now. I don't know.
Yep. So now watch out for those vacuums, people.
Everybody shut your Roomba down now.
But I mean, I understand the fear, right? And then you have the media posing, the what ifs. Right? Could ChatGPT launch a nuclear missile to Iran? All right, the possibility of that happening are very slim right now. I don't think that AI is there.
Well, and there's a lot of checks and balances in it right now for what it's even allowed to do.
I agree. So, and then there's talk about regulation and government regulation in AI itself as well. So I don't think it's going to get to that level.
Well, and part of it that I think people don't understand is they see those movies and have a preconceived notion. And because it is so good at doing it, it feels human, but it's not. It's just a bunch of lines of code that are designed to show empathy, learn from previous experiences, but all it's learning is just adding other things into its kind of like matrix of code that it understands.
I agree.
And it's not as real as it feels. It's not a real person.
No, but you can chat with it.
You can
chat with it and it will respond to that chat.
Absolutely.
So I ran into a girl, was it last week? And she's part Spanish and she said her English isn't that well. It's kind of broken English. And now she's dealing with customers in jewelry. It's for a jewelry store. Prior to that, I went shopping at this jewelry store and I wrote a very nice Google review using ChatGPT. And let me just say, it spit out the best review ever. Now, I had to modify this review to make it more personable.
Of course.
More about me. Because there's going to be when you use ChatGPT, OpenAI ChatGPT, it's going to feel somewhat mechanical in a way, somewhat technical in a way. So you have to alter it to add some of your emotion into it, your personality into it, which I did. And then some copy paste later into Google review, bing, bam, boom, the review is up. So I show up there and did some work for them. And then I got you're the one that wrote that review? And I said, no, it wasn't. I wrote it, but I didn't really write it.
Well, I asked something to write it.
And you know what somebody told me? Somebody said, oh, yeah, your wife wrote that review. I'm like, no, my wife did not write the review. So I went into ChatGPT and I start showing this girl who has a broken English on how to utilize it from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
I think it started off with, let's ask it to write us an email to a customer that hasn't been in the store for 180 days. And we want to entice them to purchase some new jewelry. And I started with that. Yeah. And it's been a really nice email. And then we started chatting with it. And I said, also include in the email that they purchased 2 sapphire rings back in January of 2023. And it added that. And then I asked ChatGPT as well to make it more personable, make it more tailored to how exciting it would be to come into the store again to review our new inventory. And it spit out some more detail. Now, Tim, I was billing them and I had to do some work. So we had to stop there.
Yeah.
But that was a good example of how ChatGPT and AI could really help everyone in business.
Absolutely.
Right.
Circling back to the MSP, so a thought that I had, you guys run like a remote help desk for some clients.
We do.
How could you see yourself using that ChatGPT in general? I mean, I kind of treat it as like a really smart virtual assistant.
Oh my goodness.
But how could you see yourself implementing that into that help desk to either help with training new employees or even giving employees a tool of resource to help solve user issues more quickly on their first response.
Well, let me talk about how I use it first. And how it's so helpful for me.
Yeah.
So anybody out there knows to write a compliance document takes hours in research
Absolutely.
and time.
I've been there.
Or you're calling a lawyer. So one or the other. It's going to cost you either money or time. So I've been writing SOPs, standard operating procedures now, for our company by going on ChatGPT, little typey, and then it spits out an SOP for me. Copy and paste into Word, make it a PDF, put it on our IT Glue document organization software, and next thing you know, we got an SOP.
Yeah.
So it's been very useful as a business owner to go ahead and write standard operating procedures. I did ask ChatGPT to write me a legal binding contract, and it did warn me.
It will do it, but it will warn you.
Yeah, that I should consult an attorney first. So my attorney, Chuck Smith, who's a very awesome guy in Allentown, reviews those for me.
Did he say anything about the contract?
No. He
No?
did not. No.
Ah.
No, he did not. So, but he does review them for me.
Yeah.
Make sure they're up to snuff.
I know GPT-4, which is a newer version
Yep.
of ChatGPT, was capable of passing a bar exam.
Yes, it was. And for those of you that don't know as well, there are different versions of ChatGPT. So the older version is free. All you need is like an account of some kind. Google Gmail is a good one to use. You can create your own email if you want and log in with that.
Yep.
ChatGPT, I think it's 3.5 and 4.0 right now.
I think 3.5 is the free current version.
And 4.0 is the paid version, which is what I use and which is what you use as well. Yeah.
And also, if anybody's interested, what Bing uses.
But Bing uses the 4.0 as well. And the 4.0 is $20 a month. It's nothing, that you can't afford.
Absolutely.
But the development in 4.0 from 3.5 has significantly changed.
Oh, absolutely. You ask them to write the same thing next to each other and they give you completely different responses.
It's night and day. It's night and day. And for those that don't know, Tim owns another company called Mint. And it's a marketing company. And Tim puts some of the things that we present to him that he writes on ChatGPT 4.0 through an AI detector, and it can't detect it at all.
Sometimes it can, but not nearly as much.
Yeah, as 3.5, as the free version. Yeah. So yeah, it's good. It really is a useful tool. Now, also another thing you use ChatGPT for is PowerShell scripts.
Absolutely.
And again, for those that don't know what PowerShell scripts are, that it's basically on any Windows machine, and it's basically core software operating system that you can use to do things on Windows servers and Windows machines, in a very generalized point of view. So one thing you can do is, for example, write a PowerShell script to remove all users, all email Active Directory users that have not been active in the past 180 days. And you can ask ChatGPT to write this, and all you need to do is copy and paste that code
right into the terminal.
And it will spit it out for you. It is, and again, this might take a programmer, if you're a good programmer, a couple of hours to write.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe if you're really, really good and
if you've memorized the book of commands for PowerShell, maybe 20 minutes.
Maybe 20 minutes, right. If all you do is live and breathe PowerShell, 20 minutes, right? But anybody that would be on my level in technology space, it's going to take you some time and Googling and research to go and write that script.
Absolutely.
So now let's go into how my new employees could use it. So obviously we tell our employees about AI. And how it can help resolve problems.
And because why wouldn't you want them to be more efficient?
Why not? So I have a Kyocera printer on a virtual workstation that's not printing, and I'm receiving error 0x000854321. So I can ask ChatGPT what this error means, or I can ask ChatGPT to help me resolve the error.
And chances are it's going to give you a very viable solution for it.
And because it's a chat, we can carry on. Oh,
Well, that didn't work. Now I'm getting this.
yeah, right, exactly. Or that didn't work. Try this instead. And the chat GPT will know where you're at as well in that process. Really, and then as well as obviously scripting and pulling up information. You know, Tim, we provide another service as well. T3, we provide knock services.
Okay.
So where what this team does that we hire out is they'll monitor all my customers' machines and look for things that aren't working correctly, basic elements, right? If a server's down, they'll know that and they'll try to remediate that. If a workstation service is stopped, say a critical element service, I can't think of anything right top of my head right now.
Yeah.
They'll try to resolve that, right? But this is a team of people working in the back end, resolving these problems. Now, can you imagine if some developer out there would go ahead and develop a knock-based software, which I'm sure it's coming, that would be AI-based, that would do all that monitoring and remediation for you.
Oh, absolutely. Even if it monitors and spits out exactly what's wrong and tells the developer, hey, this is broken, please fix it.
Yep.
That would, granted, it would make people's lives a lot easier and maybe take a few jobs in that case. But at the end of the day, the customers are going to be
super
more
happy.
than thrilled because their issues are just going to be fixed before they even catch them.
Now, what if ChatGPT could develop its own AI, develop the software to go ahead and resolve everyone's computer's issues?
Well, as of right now, I don't think that's possible. But we were talking a little bit before the podcast about some of the AI that some of these game developers are putting in and kind of letting it go wild and seeing what happens. And there's that one game we were talking about, No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Where there's a very real possibility that civilizations in this game, which if you don't know, you can fly a ship around to like billions of different planets and explore them and see the wildlife, the different foliage and everything. But with AI powered into that, these otherwise dumb creatures that just kind of walk around the planet will actually have an intelligence to them and could potentially grow into a civilization you could stumble across. And who knows, maybe they will develop their own AI.
So there is in games, they have, I forget what they're called now, Tim. They're called
NPCs.
NPCs. Thank you. You can tell I'm not a gamer, right? But these NPCs are basically coded people in a game that perform a routine based upon the code that's written in. So they can't think for themselves, right? They just perform an action that they're told to do. Now, what Tim's talking about is, can you imagine if those characters, without any human interference behind them, would go and generate their own cultures, their own maybe language, right, and their own type of food and art based upon the environment that they're put in on that specific planet.
Yeah.
And can you imagine? And I'm not sure of this game if the NPCs in this current game can go and travel from planet to planet.
They cannot. They're usually just kind of like animals that roam around.
Now imagine now that like humans, like we've developed the ability to travel to outer space via a rocket and jet propulsion and everything else. Can you imagine if they developed their own way of traveling from planet to planet internally, and what that would turn out to be?
Imagine if they developed their own way to travel that broke the code of the game, essentially destroying their universe.
Let's say they used utilized black holes. right?
Yeah.
And you use Einstein's theory of relativity to go ahead and travel even between time.
Yeah.
It's limitless here, people. It's limitless. But really, though, one joke I made is, can you imagine if the AI generated population developed their own AI internally within the AI? Think about that for a minute. Let that sink in.
We would need some serious processing power to run that, though.
I don't think Microsoft has that built into Azure right now. I don't think so. So yeah. But yeah, the idea of AI and what's coming up is really, it really is a powerful tool, and it's not scary. And as long as you're using it for good things and to help your business grow or help you make a quilt, or whatever else you might use AI for, it really, really is a neat way to do it. One thing I was thinking about, Tim, and for those of you who don't know as well, OpenAI ChatGPT is only text-based right now. So therefore, you cannot ask it to create you an image on the text-based platform. But what if we started incorporating video and pictures into ChatGPT, and you asked it to show you a camera, maybe at the Eiffel Tower in Paris?
Yeah.
And then take you to a website or to a camera on the screen that shows you the Eiffel Tower in Paris. How cool would that be?
There are AIs that do that kind of stuff, but it would be pretty cool. I think OpenAI actually has DALL-E. Which is their image processing version.
All right.
Which I believe actually came out before ChatGPT, oddly enough.
Okay. All right. So
I could be wrong on that.
Behind that.
But
okay. All right.
Yeah, DALL-E is definitely one of those ones where you could type exactly that and it'll do its best to recreate it.
Well, I meant live though. So something live. So
that would be interesting.
Or unify it all in one platform. Because right now too, there's a lot of different platforms for AI to do what you need it to do.
Yep. Even Bing, they've tried to make it feel unified, but it's still, you have to go through separate tabs to use the different features.
Correct.
To get different things out of it.
Right. Whatever you might need. Oh, another thing that listeners might not know as well is that OpenAI ChatGPT only goes back to 2021.
Yep.
So it does not know current events currently. And again, that is because of the way it was developed and in its learning process, but also it's kind of a safety feature as well.
A little bit. Bing has access to the internet.
It does.
And
so does Bard too.
Yes.
Right.
And Bing, I will say, is pretty crazy. You can ask it about current news articles and it will answer you. And you can also ask it about like things to shop for. Like if you're trying to purchase, say we're trying to purchase a new camera and we need to compare features.
Right. Right.
I don't have to rely on a salesperson not knowing what they're talking about. I can ask Bing and have it just spit out whatever. It's researched on the internet, take me directly to links for places to buy them and help me find the best price.
It's funny you say that. I recently signed up for a sales program. And it's from a person called Jeremy Miner. And it's a really neat program about sales. One thing he talks about is how the sales landscape has changed from, it doesn't matter if you're B2C, B2B, or B2G. It doesn't matter. But the sales landscape has changed because before you have a sales rep, you would trust what they're saying. Let's say I'm going to Sears and I'm buying an appliance. I have to trust what that sales rep is telling me about the appliance.
Absolutely.
And what it can do. Now, you can do your own research. Now you can delve even deeper into the research using AI.
Well, it makes the research so much easier.
It does.
It's as easy as it sounds to just Google something. Sometimes it's hard to get the results you want out of a standard search engine.
It's true.
But when you can have a conversation with something about it and it can understand what you're saying and try and grasp what you're looking for, that changes everything.
It's like your know-it-all uncle.
Except it actually knows it all.
It actually knows it all. Right. So it's not scary. It's not. It's not scary. It's not going to take over the world, but it is a very, very powerful tool that you can use in your life. Whether you own a business, you're an employee of a business, or you just want to find out some good facts about traveling. Really, really good stuff to use.
Absolutely.
So I know people are scared too about how this will take over their job and eliminate their job, but I don't think so. I really don't. I think it's going to help augment.
Absolutely.
And make their lives easier and make them have a more powerful force at their skill, whatever it might be.
For sure. I know for us, I always say, marketing is one of those things that could easily be taken by ChatGPT before, like even you were talking about the emails before.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean every single person wants to use it,
right,
cares to use it, or knows how to use it.
Right.
And I believe that as long as we're on the cutting edge of that technology and we understand how to use it and we are growing with it,
right,
I don't see it as a threat. I see it as a huge aid.
And that's going to be our next topic, by the way, is the evolving in technology. So I really think that as well. Like I mentioned about the Google review that I wrote, I had to add my personality into that review. We couldn't just go ahead and copy. I mean, I could have just copied and pasted the review, but it sounded almost insincere, almost like it was scripted. So I had to alter that to go ahead and add my personality traits into it.
Absolutely.
And really, and quite frankly, Wesley Jewelers down in Florida, down in Melbourne, Florida, super, super nice people, the sweetest people, and they are so knowledgeable. They said rocks. They call them rocks. So diamonds, emeralds, rubies, they're all rocks. But they really they treated me really well. And I really wanted to give them the best review possible.
Absolutely.
From the great experience that I had. And AI doesn't know the experience that I had. All it knows is write me a good review. So I had to alter it, obviously, and make it more human. And which you do all the time, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not scary. So with that said, stay tuned for our next episode coming in the upcoming months. If you enjoyed what you listened to today, I'm sure you'll enjoy some of our topics we have coming up, such as the evolving technology. So are humans evolving with technology, or is technology evolving with us humans? As well as, and then we also talk about mental health and how mental health has an impact on us here in our own lives, and as well as how our mental health affects other people. So as technology advances, how is that going to help us with mental health? So again, some topics we have lined up for in the future. So looking forward to seeing what we have coming up. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.